Hi, my name is Michael Ash, and according to an article published in the New York Post in 2013, 30% of annual charitable giving is done in the month of December. Now, as you contemplate your end of the year giving for this year, you should consider making your donations to smaller, reputable organizations rather than large organizations like the Red Cross, who raise millions of dollars every year, but don't always use it in the way that you might expect. I am the international director for a nonprofit organization. I actually currently live in India overseeing some projects for our organization. And as you get bombarded with emails, newsletters, phone calls, etc., from people over the next month or the next few weeks until the end of the year, these people are trying to persuade you to give you their hard-earned money. Here's a few pointers that you should follow to help you choose an organization wisely. I'll start out with talking to you about why donating to some of the big, well-known organizations is not the best way to really help people. And then I'll talk about what to look for in a reputable charity. And then I'll end with telling you why our organization, the organization that I'm working for, is a good option. So you might be asking, what's wrong with giving to large organizations that are household names and the ones that we hear about all over the news whenever there's a disaster? The Red Cross, for example. Let me talk about the Red Cross for a bit. They have become too big to be efficient. In response to the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, for example, the Red Cross raised far more money than any other organization for aid. In fact, almost $500 million was donated to the Red Cross. But according to a 2015 investigation by ProPublica and NPR, the Red Cross was not prepared to manage that amount of money efficiently. The Red Cross typically takes 9% out of any money that's donated to cover their overhead costs, which is actually not a bad number. But in the case of Haiti, due to the fact that the Red Cross was ill-equipped to undertake such a large project, they ended up re-granting a lot of the money that they raised to other organizations, who each took their overhead money out of the amount that was given to them. So the actual amount that was donated, the percentage that actually went to relief work, was much smaller than the amount that was actually donated. Second reason why the Red Cross and other organizations like that may not be the best option is in 2015, the Red Cross brought in more than $3 billion in donations. In 2015 alone, $3 billion in donations. But over 500,000 of that went for the CEO's salary. According to the website charitynavigator.com, Gail J. McGovern, the CEO and president of Red Cross, was paid $517,364 in 2015. And thirdly, sometimes it seems that they are more interested in putting on a show rather than actual relief. And there are a few examples of that. NPR and ProPublica did a study, an investigation after the Red Cross's response to Hurricane Isaac and Hurricane Sandy, which seemed to show that some of their actions were done more for PR purposes than actual relief. Here's a few examples. A truck driver driving a relief truck during Hurricane Isaac said that they were instructed by a supervisor to, an official, a Red Cross official, send out 80 trucks, and most of them, 80 trucks and emergency response vehicles, and most of them were almost entirely empty or just carrying a few snacks. And according to that driver, the volunteers were told to drive around and look like they were doing relief work. The same investigation also mentions an instance where during Hurricane Sandy, emergency response vehicles were taken away from doing relief work to serve as a backdrop at an a Red Cross press conference. According to the National Center for Charitable Statistics, there are over 1.5 million organizations in the nonprofit sector. So how do you choose which one is good to give your money to? And here's a few things to look for. Look for an organization that is capable of not only raising money, but is also that is capable of not only raising money for marketing purposes, but that can also use that money effectively and efficiently. The big organizations have well-oiled marketing and fundraising machines, but a big question to ask is what percentage of the donation you make to them actually goes to pay for that marketing? A good rule of thumb is that 10% or less of all money donated should go toward marketing and administration. Another question to ask, especially if the organization is doing work in foreign countries, is do they have the infrastructure in place on the ground in that foreign country? In other words, does the organization have staff in that foreign country, or are they just simply sending the money to another organization that they don't have a lot of control over? And along with that, is that staff from that country, or are they foreigners being sent to that country? Of course, it takes some foreigners to manage and oversee projects, which is what I'm doing in India. But an organization that relies mostly on foreign labor, in other words, Americans being sent to a foreign country, is not efficient because it costs a lot more to move the people, it costs a lot more to pay the people. So an efficient organization will have a few key leaders in place, and then they will hire local people. Local people are much more efficient because they already know the language, they know the culture, and on and on. So it works a lot better. For One Life is an organization that assists communities, individuals, and organizations through community development projects, through partnership projects with schools and children's homes, and through children and youth programs. And here's what makes us a good option for your contributions. Number one, we effectively and efficiently handle all the donations that we receive. In fact, 0% of donations made to our organization that are designated for a certain project, 0% of that gets taken out for overhead costs. You heard that right, 0%. How do we do that? We have a fundraising event every year where we raise enough money to cover our organization's overhead. The rest of the year, every single dollar that comes in is used entirely for the project that it was designated for. Secondly, we have low overhead costs. We have no paid staff in the United States. Our staff is entirely volunteer, and because of that, we can do what I just mentioned. We can send all of the money we receive directly to aid projects. After the recent hurricane in Haiti, Hurricane Matthew, just a few months ago, we raised enough money to build 5 new houses in a small rural farming community that other aid organizations completely overlooked. Now, 5 houses does not sound like a lot, but there are now 5 families who have new houses, who have repaired houses, who had completely no way to get aid because they were overlooked by other organizations. They now have new houses, and every penny that was sent in for that project went directly to build those houses. My organization is directly involved in affecting the lives of the less fortunate every day. We provide jobs through our community development initiatives. We give young people in underdeveloped areas places to develop and showcase their skills. And we provide new buildings for needy schools and children's homes in remote and forgotten areas of the world. You can learn more about our organization and even make a donation online at www.foronelife.org. Thank you.